Good morning and welcome to Rose Red Homestead, where today we're going to be doing more work with food security, and that is in terms of what we can do with powdered milk. It may be at some point in time that all of us will be forced by circumstances surrounding us to live on our food storage, what we have stored. And hopefully we all have stored a great deal of powdered milk, because powdered milk is going to be an essential for us if we hope to have things like cheese and use the milk in cooking and for drinking, and we'll need to calculate carefully to see that we have enough for all of our needs. One of the things that we can do with powdered milk is to make different kinds of cheeses. I have learned a lot as I have been practicing and trying to find recipes for making good tasting cheese using powdered milk. I have made practice batches, and some have been pretty good, some have been horrible. And so it is a learning experience, and I hope with my learning experience I can save you from making some of the missteps that I made because I didn't know any better. I knew very little about making cheese when I started this adventure, and I have learned some things. One of the main things that I have learned is that when, like today's title is Making Cream Cheese with Powdered Milk 2 Ways. Well, when I see making cream cheese, I think of Philadelphia cream cheese and that very familiar taste. Well, the taste of cheese that comes from using powdered milk is not the very identical same as what the taste is when it is commercially manufactured. But it's a good taste. And the cheeses that we will make have good taste, hopefully, but they are not necessarily the same as that we might already be used to. And so we need to know that going in, because I was a little unnerved by the fact that my cream cheese didn't taste like Philadelphia cream cheese. So here is what we are going to do today. First of all, I'm going to take you through some basics of what we're going to be doing with all of our cheese making. And this board will be up in front anytime we make cheese using powdered milk, because it's important for us to understand a couple of basic things. Number one basic thing is that some cheeses are cultured and may start with yogurt or just start with some other kind of a culture and then produce the cheese. Other types of cheese are made using curds. And using the curd, we don't use bacteria live cultures the way we do over here. Here we use an acid such as lemon juice or vinegar to add it to the milk, and it will make curds. And with curds, we're going to do cream cheese, but we're also going to do cream cheese using a cultured process that starts with yogurt. And that's what this video does. As we add different types of cheeses, we will continue mapping them out where they go. And sometimes cheeses might be on both sides, like cream cheese. And I think it would be worth your while to try it both ways to see what you prefer. So today we are after cream cheese. And we are on this side. We're going to start with yogurt that has then been turned into Greek yogurt. And we did that in one of our other videos, and I will put the link to that video on a card right here because we're not going to go over that part. We are going to start with the Greek yogurt that we made starting with this yogurt, and we're going to turn this into cream cheese. This is about a 4-day process. So I'm going to take this Greek yogurt that we made using the process described in that video, and I'm going to put it in this little setup. And you saw this setup in that other video, but I will review it in just a minute here. So the first step for making cheese from a culture is to strain it and get more of the whey out. So this is just one of my tea towels in a strainer over a bowl, and this is going to go back into the refrigerator. And I'm going to cover this Greek yogurt with the towel, just to keep it clean. And we're going to let it sit in the refrigerator for 24 hours. We won't even be starting this until day 3. But we will come back a couple of times with this one tomorrow and then a little bit later, until by the end of day 4, we will have both finished cheeses and we can do a little bit of a taste test. So stay tuned and we will see you at the next step with this. Good morning. It has been 24 hours and here is our cream cheese in progress. It did not drip one drop of whey, but my tea towel is sopping wet. So it absorbed a lot of the liquid, and what we have here is a very dry yogurt mixture, very dry. So here's what we're going to do. Now, I thought that we had 2 more steps, but this is the last step before we take it out and sample it. So I'm using the same dish, it's clean, and we're now going to just put this right in here. And I'm going to just mash it down as much as I can. Now you can probably see how much liquid has been lost, because this was almost to the top of this dish, but now it is about right here. So there's just a little bit, and it's very soft, it's very smooth, but we want to pack it down and put it in the refrigerator and let it chill and kind of age for 3 days. I want to put pressure on this so that it presses it hard when we put the lid on, and well, we're just going to go ahead and do it. So I'm going to fold the fabric up across, and we actually need some more to take up that space. So I'm going to get one of the other squares, and
We need another one.
I need another one. Okay, I think this is going to do it. So by the time I put the lid on, it will be pressing down on the cheese. Okay, so here it is. We'll be back in 2 days to do the other cheese and to do the other method for cream cheese, and we'll give that one 24 hours in the refrigerator. So by the end of 3 days from now, we should have both of these ready for us to taste test. So we will see you then. Good morning, and it is day 3. First of all, let me make a little announcement. Some of you are going to notice that I have placed my bangs today strategically to cover up a Band-Aid on my forehead. And you would be right. And I don't want anybody to worry. It is of no concern whatsoever. I have developed, as I have aged, some what my doctor calls barnacles. Barnacles! And we took one of those off yesterday in his office. And I have a couple of layers of stitching. They've sent it to the lab. There is no worry whatsoever. So please don't be concerned at all. But I am a little conscious about having a big old Band-Aid stuck on my forehead, so I'm trying to cover it up. So on with what we are doing today. So today is day 3, as I mentioned earlier, and what we are aware of is that this cream cheese is in progress. That's what we started with yogurt, turned it into Greek yogurt, and then let it drip another 24 hours in the refrigerator, and then packed it so that it's packed down tightly. It's been in the refrigerator in that condition for 2 days. By tomorrow morning, it will be ready to taste test. This is what we are doing today. We are going to make cream cheese using curd, which means we're going to be adding acid to the milk instead of a culture. Now, for those of you that are already well experienced in cheese making, I want to make an announcement that what we are really doing on this side is a type of what is called farmer's cheese. and we're going to turn farmer's cheese into a kind of a wannabe cream cheese. Real cream cheese is made from a culture, not necessarily the yogurt culture, but the yogurt culture is one way to get to a cream cheese type. But today we are going to make really a farmer's cheese. A farmer's cheese is kind of a shortcut way to make a fast cream cheese when you open up your refrigerator needing some cream cheese for a recipe and you're out. You can make this in 15 minutes and have a cheese. It will be a farmer's cheese, but it is called all over the internet a cream cheese that will work just fine. And keep it under medium heat until it comes to just barely boiling, just a gentle little boil. So I'm just sprinkling that around, and I'm going to stir gently. So I'm going to add tablespoon number 2. Well, I have hard curds again. Maybe all curds are hard like that, little rubbery like cheese. And what we are going to want is a nice creamy mixture. All right, I think we have made some great ricotta cheese. I don't think we've made cream cheese at all. Well, this was a failure at cream cheese, and what we have right here is ricotta. And I just tasted it. It's delicious ricotta. I'm thrilled to have it. So we made ricotta cheese today. Now what I'm going to do between now and tomorrow morning, when we're going to pull the other one out and taste it, I'm going to try a couple of more times. And if I'm successful, I'll come back and let you know how I was successful. But for right now, I'm thrilled to have this ricotta cheese. This just started to boil, so we're going to put the first tablespoon. This is lemon juice we're going to be using this time. And I'm barely stirring. And even though this original recipe called for 4 tablespoons of acid, vinegar actually, but I'm using lemon juice, you can use them interchangeably, we want to stop adding the acid just as soon as the whey and the curds separate. In the batch where we made the ricotta, it only took 2 tablespoons of vinegar to create that chemical change. I have used 1.5 times the powdered milk here. And what I have learned is, over this afternoon, this is my 3rd batch since we made our video this morning, I'm keeping trying, is that the thicker the liquid, the more powder used, the more acid it takes to separate. All right, there we go. And it looks like it's soft. Good. So now I am just going to take my slotted spoon instead of dumping the whole thing over here. Now you will notice that this is a very different curd than the one this morning. And I believe it is because I used more powdered milk than what the regular recipe called for. I love this slotted spoon. I'll put it in our Amazon store if anybody is interested. It works super well for making cheese. And now we are going to investigate it, see how it looks. So much better than the ricotta. And I think the difference is that we added more. Look at that. So it is smooth and creamy. I'm going to put it in this little rectangular container. So what really helped this time, from my perspective, was adding half again as much powdered milk, and then watching carefully for the curds to separate from the whey. And regardless of how much acid we put in, that's when we stop. It's when we start seeing the yellowish, greenish whey colored and the curds separate from that. We have found the magic bullet. I think it is 1.5 times powder to the specified amount of water that is called for in whatever kind of powdered milk you use. Now, you can use skim powdered milk the way we did, non-fat powdered milk. If you have full-fat powdered milk, it's going to be an easier go for you. So we'll come back in the morning and do all of these taste tests and go through it one more time. Good morning. Here we are at the end of this cream cheese adventure. I promised recipes for the cheeses that we will do from powdered milk. So I'm going to put what we have done together with a download, and you can find it right now on our website. I'll put it in the recipes. And this will be V1, version 1. As we progress through the other videos with more cheese making, I will add to that, and so we might have version 2, version 3. I don't know if there will be a version 4, but the last and final version, whatever it is, will include all of our recipes. But right now, you can download recipes for what we have done so far. Started over here with yogurt, turned it into Greek yogurt, and then into cream cheese, packaged it right here, put in extra. These are a little damp. That means it has been absorbing. We put in extra padding so that it would push down on the cream cheese. And here we have our cream cheese from the yogurt. So it's very much the consistency of cream cheese. And I'm going to taste just a little bit. It's a little bit too dry, but the taste is good. It has the texture of cream cheese. So I think when I do this next time, I won't pack it like this. I will probably just leave it overnight the way I did the rest of these, and it will probably be just about right. So this one now aside, these four just illustrate my continuing attempts at coming up with a smooth, velvety cream cheese. Before this video, I probably tried 5 or 6 times. And I either ended up like this, with the curds being so dry they would not stick together. This is ricotta. Or I ended up with it creamed, but it was still grainy on the texture. You could still taste the grains. I was just determined. And I think we figured it out. So just to summarize, this one of the problems I had with the recipes online, it would say, so many cups of powdered milk, so many cups of water. Well, I wasn't sure whether that was the reconstitution instruction from whatever powdered milk brand they were using, or whether you could just use 3 cups of any old powdered milk, which did not make sense to me because instant powdered milk is light and fluffy and airy. It does not have the same density that other powdered milk has. And so I was very suspicious of some of the ways the ingredients were presented. I made an assumption and stuck with that assumption through several iterations before making this video, and that was that they mixed up their powdered milk according to the package directions. So it was reconstituted as if you were just making it up. And that's what I used, and every single one of them failed. So when I started this video, that's how I started once again. The recipe that I'm sticking with is 3 cups of liquid, 4 tablespoons of acid, either vinegar or lemon juice. And when I did it according to that, I put 2 tablespoons in and got what we're calling ricotta. And this is really, really good ricotta. Then, while we were off camera, I was just determined. And Jim did some research and found some really good information. That information was that, and this was from a professional cheese-making institution, I think, wasn't it, Jim?
Something like that, yeah.
And that you only add acid until the curds and the whey separate, and then stop adding acid. So if it calls for 4 tablespoons and you only need 2, stop at 2, and that's what we did here. Adding extra acid will not help it at all. So I decided, okay, I've got to just see what I can do with regular whole milk. That's what this one was right here. I used 3 cups. I'm still at 3 cups of liquid. I used 3 cups of whole milk. this point, and look at this cream cheese. This is beautiful cream cheese. This is more like it. And the taste, oh, smooth as velvet. The taste is fabulous. And it's because it has all of that extra fat in it, because it's whole milk. So you should probably try it with whole milk to see what you get. This is fantastic, and it would be a great substitute for any cream cheese. So then I got to thinking, okay, when I use powdered milk, the mixture is very thin, and so maybe I need more thickness. And so with this batch, I doubled the powdered milk. Instead of using 1 cup, I used 2 cups of powdered milk and 3 cups of water. Now this also has the texture of cream cheese, sort of.
Still looks a little dry.
This is just a little bit dry. I could have added back some whey into this, and then when I taste it, it's very smooth, but I can taste the powdered milk.
Yeah, it kind of showed on your face.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, it did.
Oh, sorry about that. Because I won't be able to eat this. It's too reminiscent of the gag reflex. And so that was too much. And so the next thing that we did was this one right here. And this one we got back on camera. And so I thought, okay, if this is too little powdered milk and this one is too much, what if I just put 1.5 times the amount of powdered milk? So instead of using 1 cup, I used 1.5 cups. And look at this. It's also a little bit dry. I could have added more whey back in. It's velvety, it is smooth, it is as close to whole milk as any of these other iterations are. So, this is our winner right here. Now, over here with the curd, that's what these 4 were the curd. And this is really, when we do it this way, it's called farmer's cheese. And farmer's cheese is made just by adding acid to milk. Now, you will probably have to do some experimenting on your own with the powdered milk that you have. So I am suggesting, if you are using non-fat, to use 1.5 times the regular recipe for reconstituting. And then I just used a small amount because I'm still experimenting. I'm not going to use 1 gallon and have 1 gallon of this stuff that I can't eat. So you can also use full fat powdered milk. And if I were doing that, I would stick with reconstituting it just the way according to the recipe and using 3 cups with our recipe. The interesting thing was that when I doubled the powdered milk and got the little bit of a powdered milk taste, it took 6 tablespoons of acid for it to separate the curds from the whey. And so this one probably is not going to be around our household very long. But these others will. These are good. And this one is also good. These will go on crackers. This one will as well. This one I'll use in something like lasagna. So all in all, this was a big success. So with our farmer's cheese, with the curd, we got a cream cheese that is very satisfactory. And we also got some ricotta. So we still have a couple of more videos on this series. We're going to do some mozzarella, and we'll do some cottage cheese and maybe a couple of surprises. We're going to do a surprise with the whey, and I can't wait to do that one. So we will see you very soon for more videos.